You know, sometimes you pull on a single thread and it just unravels this whole huge story. Well, today, that's exactly what we're doing. We're diving into a story about tradition, identity, and the global fight to keep ancient crafts from just disappearing.
So let's just jump right in with a big one. Can you actually copyright a culture? I mean, it's a huge question, and it's right at the heart of everything we're exploring today. And the answer, as you can probably guess, it's complicated. But it all starts with something you can actually hold in your hands, a piece of clothing with a very, very deep history.
To start, we're going to head to the city of Pune in India to look at this unique piece of headgear called the Puneri Pagadi. And I want to be clear, this is so much more than just a hat. It is quite literally a piece of living history.
I mean, for over 400 years, this pagadi hasn't just been something to wear in Pune. It's a massive symbol of intellectual and cultural pride. Get this, artisans, they were called the kostis, would actually go door to door every couple of weeks just to make fresh turbans for people. Can you imagine that? That's how essential it was to the city's identity.
And this reputation, as a symbol of intellect, it wasn't just some marketing slogan. This was the real deal. It was worn by some of India's most important social reformers and freedom fighters. Think of it like the original power suit, but instead of pinstripes, it's woven with centuries of history.
Okay, and just look at the incredible detail here. This is not just some random piece of cloth wrapped around someone's head. Nope. The pagadi has this incredibly precise anatomy. Every single fold, every little element has its own name and its own purpose. From the coca that sits just so to the golden jirtar ribbons. It's a genuine work of art.
But, as is the case with so many of these amazing traditions, the Puneri Pagadi found itself facing a very modern threat. A threat that could, well, pretty much erase its unique identity and its entire origin story.
And this quote, man, it really hits home, because this wasn't some hypothetical what-if scenario. India had already been down this road. They'd fought battles over products like turmeric and basmati rice, where foreign companies tried to swoop in and claim them. So the community in Pune, they saw the writing on the wall. They knew the pagadi could be next.
Now, this is super important because it shows us something crucial. The threat to tradition doesn't always look the same. On the one hand, you have India, where the threat was external, this fear of cultural appropriation. But then you look at the Philippines and the Marano people, and the threat was coming from the inside. A younger generation was losing interest and the whole economy was shifting. So you've got these two very different cultures facing the exact same risk, that their heritage could just disappear.
So what do you do when your culture is under threat like this? Well, the people of Pune got creative. They decided to fight fire with fire, using a powerful, modern tool to protect something ancient, the law.
The tool they used is called a Geographical Indication, or a GI tag. And honestly, the easiest way to wrap your head around this is to think about champagne, right? You know, you can't just call any old bubbly wine champagne unless it's from the Champagne region of France. Well, a GI tag does the exact same thing for the Puneri Pagada. It's basically a legal promise that if you're calling it a Puneri Pagada, it better be from Pune.
And this is where it all began. With this piece of paper, a formal application. Back in 2009, a local group in Pune filed all the paperwork to get this thing officially registered, to protect not just the manufacturing rights, but the entire cultural heritage of their city.
And it actually worked. On September 4th, 2009, the Puneri Pagadi officially got its GI status. And let me tell you, this certificate, it is so much more than just a piece of paper. It's a legal shield, it's a declaration to the world that this turban belongs to the people of Pune.
Okay, so problem solved, right? They got the legal tag, everything's good. Well, not so fast. The story definitely doesn't end there. Because, protection on paper is one thing, but actually keeping a tradition alive, that's a whole different ballgame.
And that brings us to the really crucial question here. I mean, think about it. If the artisans stop making them and the younger generation just doesn't care anymore, what good is a piece of paper? Really? What is it protecting?
To try and find an answer to that, we're going to switch gears and head over to the Philippines to meet the Marano people. They're also in a fight to preserve their absolutely incredible crafts. We're talking everything from intricate weaving to stunning metalwork. But their strategy, it's a world away from the legal battle we just saw in India.
And this is what I find so fascinating about the Marano approach. We've got two different models, right? India's legal-first strategy, and here in the Philippines, a completely community-first playbook. It's not just one thing, it's this whole ecosystem they've built. They've created schools of living traditions so elders can pass down their skills. They've started cooperatives to give artisans real economic clout. And they're working hard to get young people excited about it all. It's a total ground-up movement. And what's so smart about this is that these programs, they go right after the biggest problems. They tackle the waning interest of young people by making it a real way to earn a living. They create markets where there weren't any. And they help walk that tricky line between being commercially successful and, selling out your culture.
And this stuff is having a real impact on the ground. It's not just theory. The government has even jumped in, helping set up 26 different artisan cooperatives. 26! I mean, that's a huge step. It takes individual artisans who might be struggling all by themselves and unites them into a much more powerful, collective force.
So at the end of the day, whether we're talking about a turban in India or some amazing woven textile in the Philippines, why does all this matter? Why should we care about preserving these old threads?
There's this quote from one of the sources that I just love. It totally nails what this is all about. This isn't about sticking tradition behind glass in a museum to collect dust. It's about making sure that tradition stays a living, breathing, evolving resource that's part of a community's actual life.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's that preserving a craft, it's never just about the object, is it? It's about people's livelihoods. It's about a community's identity, their sense of who they are. And it's about empowering them to carry their own history into the future. And that really brings us right back to the beginning. Because these stories, they're not just happening in some far-off place. They're happening everywhere, maybe even right in your own backyard. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. What's a local craft or a tradition in your community that's worth fighting for?